as strange as this may sound, I agree with your premise about the bailout of the auto industry. I think that we do need an exit strategy with these companies, and perhaps it hasn't been clearly formulated or articulated yet. I do have a suggestion, though, and what I would suggest is that now that we own these huge auto companies, we should break them up into smaller companies. That we should take GM and create 10 companies out of it, and then let them compete on the open market. All right, that's, the ones that do well, we'll be able to sell our profit. The ones that fail, well, they're gone. All right, and give them an honest chance to succeed in the marketplace, and either they find a niche or they don't. Okay, so I think this idea of having companies that are too big to fail, I think that is something we have to be very wary of. Beyond just antitrust for the sake of preventing monopolies, I think another criteria that we should consider when we allow these mergers and acquisitions is whether or not we're creating companies that are too big to fail, and how much of the economy they drag with them if they start failing, okay, for bad leadership. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was healthcare, and I think one of the things that we have to address with healthcare is I am not so much in favor of nationalizing healthcare as I am worried about what is going on with private healthcare insurance. I think the private healthcare insurance industry is in need of reform. And I don't know whether or not we can do it. Right now they've got all their lobbyists working 24/7 trying to convince all the members of Congress and the Senate that hey, we'll get it right this time. Really, we will. Well, bullshit on that. I think we need to have some very tough rules about basic coverage. Some rules concerning pre-existing conditions, for example. I think the whole concept of pre-existing conditions should just disappear, should go away completely. I don't think anyone should be denied coverage for any reason, okay? And I think there should be a basic rate for a basic policy, okay? Now, if you want frivolous stuff, go ahead, shoot the moon, you want boob jobs or whatever, cosmetic surgery, you want your health insurance to cover that, well, hey, buy a more expensive policy, but for basic stuff, for trauma and for disease and, things that seriously affect your functionality in life, the quality of your life, I think that's stuff that belongs in a basic policy for basic premium, all right? And not allow the insurance companies to weasel out by making you jump through a zillion different hoops to qualify for coverage, or by having these complicated claims forms or insurance policies where you need to state your entire medical history from the beginning of time. I think it should be very simplified. You want coverage, you pay your money, you get coverage. It's a basic policy with a basic premium, and every health insurance company that wants to be in business has got to offer it. Okay, I think that's part of the solution. Okay, the other part, perhaps, is that perhaps the private insurance industry is because these are all big companies too. They're all in collusion. They're taking the profits, and they're doing marketing, and they're doing all this other stuff, which is very inefficient. Private health insurance, actually, only 70% of what you pay in premiums goes into health care. Now, the government is much more efficient with Medicare. 99% of what we pay for Medicare goes into health care, right? They're far more efficient because they're non-profit, and they don't advertise, and they don't hire a bunch of creative geniuses to come up with new and more complicated schemes of denying coverage, okay? They don't have adjusters and all this other stuff, So they are far more efficient in being able to provide coverage, right? So the idea that we might have a government-run health insurance provider compete with all these private health insurance companies is beginning to sound pretty attractive. I wouldn't mind having a public, nonprofit, government-sponsored corporation compete in this market, right? Because I think they could compete very effectively. Now, I wouldn't want them to make cars because I don't think they compete very effectively. But for health insurance, I think they could, all right? And might just drive everyone else out of business. And, they can't compete. Goodbye. Right? So that's all I want to say for now. Thanks. Bye.